We chose Samoa because we wanted somewhere tropical, somewhere that would be really beautiful and spectacular and that had a really challenging environment. We also need somewhere that has a lot of water. There's a lot of water challenges in Survivor, and also somewhere that would be a bit exotic for Australians, so it was a perfect location. The interesting thing about Survivor is you have to choose a host who can actually run the show, because not only do they have to commentate through the challenges, they have to actually run Tribal Council, which is effectively, to a degree, producing the show. And Jonathan's really smart, he's really adventurous, and also he really loves Survivor, and you have to understand the gameplay, so he really was a perfect choice. Also, he's someone who hasn't presented on Australian television, so it's good to bring new talent onto television, and our audience really like discovery with talent. Australian Survivor will be the same as US Survivor in terms of production value. The production value will be really high, the show will look spectacular. It will be different in that we will obviously be casting Australian contestants, and Australians will play the game very differently than the US contestants. We think that they will value mateship, and there will be a different type of conflict in the show because they will work as teams more readily, and there will be less trickery in these early seasons, and certainly in the early part of the early seasons. So really the uniqueness about the show is the cultural difference that Australians bring. The digital and social elements of Survivor are actually really exciting. Survivor is a show that really creates conversation and that people deeply engage with. They want to talk about it, they want more. They watch the episodes and then they want a lot more content. They want to talk about the content on Twitter, they want to see additional content on Template, and we have plans for a really deep digital extension that will really support the content that's on screen for superfans, but also we think the social element's really important because the conversations that can happen around Survivor are kind of unique, and people who are engaged in the show really want to have those conversations all week long, so we think it's a huge opportunity and it's not been tapped into before. Survivor's a huge show. It's offshore, so similar to Celebrity in that way. It's different to Celebrity in that it's not live, so we pre-record the show. That will allow us to finesse the production value and to really finesse the storytelling. Survivor has also been made all over the world in many, many markets, and there's a particular expertise that comes with the show. So obviously we're working with Sean Endemol Australia, who do a wonderful job in these sorts of shows, but also with Castaway Television, who own the format, and they send a flying producer to consult to ensure that the production is really smooth. We're investing a lot in the production. It will look good, and logistically operating in Samoa is probably quite similar to operating in South Africa in that we have to take our people offshore. The good thing about that is they live and breathe the show, and they work literally around the clock and get really engaged in it, so the product's always really good.